Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, and and how they were developed. Take Pfizer for example. Pfizer released some information last week saying that their vaccine was roughly 90% or more effective. Great news, right? And it is, and it's wonderful that they were able to figure out how to do this. Science is rather wonderful. But the problem is, the president has decided he wants to take credit for work other people did. For starters, Pfizer started their vaccine while Donald Trump was still downplaying the virus, while Donald Trump was still telling Americans it was going to disappear. From what I've read, they started research back in January when they first noticed it was going to be a big deal. Yet Trump takes credit for it. And there's nothing that Donald Trump did that created this vaccine. Nothing. Yes, Pfizer has a deal to sell its product, and that's great. They have a deal to sell their product, 100 million doses, to the U.S. federal government. But no money changes hands until that vaccine is approved by the FDA. So there goes that idea. All that, I mean, people are like, oh, it created incentive. They already had incentive. They were already building towards making this vaccine before Trump even started caring one iota about this virus. And that's a fact. Yet Trump wants to sit there and all his supporters want to be like, oh, Trump did this. Trump didn't do jack diddly squat. And that's what gets me, is that people continue to believe a man who has done nothing but lie for the last 4.5, 5 years. Because all the way back to the start of his campaign, when he first announced he was running for office, he started with his entire campaign on lies. And he's continued them, and no one cares. The fact is, at some point, he's going to have to realize that he's not, you know, the center of the universe. That the world does not revolve around him. That he doesn't get to take credit for every single thing that other people do. So, it's just a really sad thing that somebody has to be such a loser that they have to take credit for other people's success. That's not. I ain't having the whole entire video will be um, focused on his conspiracy theories and lies about the election. But the fact is, Pfizer has worked really hard to create this vaccine, and they have recently passed safety milestones where they feel safe to submit their information for their virus or for their virus vaccine in the next few days to the FDA for final approval. And they believe they will be doing most of the distribution. They have no problems with distribution of their own, and they believe that distribution will happen. And they have a new pilot program they're going to be working on in order to do that. Now, there are other vaccines out there that did take money for R&D for their corona vaccine. And that's great too, because the government needed to be involved, I think. I believe the government needed to help some of these smaller companies, or even the big companies, be able to cover the cost that research and development would bring. Pfizer just didn't want any politics in their process. And, on this channel, I've never been very kind to Big Pharma. I never haven't cared to be nice to them. But sometimes they do the right thing. Sometimes they do good things. And they do, and they did. And Donald Trump decided it was his to take credit for. Sorry, Mr. President, but that is not how it works. You don't get to take credit for other people's work and expect people to respect you. Anyhow, this has been The Big Ranch Show. I've been your host, Jacob Keck, and I'll see you down the road.